Good morning, guys. In case you didn't read the assignment, we are not going to do live meets today. That second vaccine is kicking my butt today, so I'm going to give you a little mini lesson on the next part of our unit. We've been talking about functions quite a bit, but now we're going to talk about what's called linear functions. And some of the classes we kind of touched on this for a second. A linear function is basically when you have a straight line. Okay, so if I were to give you a bunch of graphs and say, like, is this linear? This would be no, because it's not a straight line. So linear could be like something like this. It could even be just like dots, as long as it goes in a straight line. It could be a zero slope, and so on. But anytime you have some kind of shape that turns, like you could even have something like this. Obviously, that's not linear. This is one of the go-to ones. This is not linear because neither of those are just a fully straight line. The one that gets people is like when they'll have part of it a straight line and then it turns. Even though both of these are straight lines, you look at the graph as a whole. So this right here would not be linear. So nonlinear. Okay. Another thing to look at is tables. When you have a straight line, remember that when we talked about rise over run, you have like a specific pattern because it's going up by the same amount every single time. So the way you look at a table and figure out if it's linear is you look at like how much it's going up by. So like this is going up by 5, up by 5, up by 5. It has to go by the same pattern that entire table. And then this one goes up by 1, up by 1, up by 1. Since both of these sides together have a consistent pattern, this would be considered linear. But the second you have part of your table that like messes up the pattern, so let's say you looked at this whole side and you're like, okay, +1, +1, all right, this side's good to go. But then this side, it starts off good and then it does like some weird stuff. So it like goes +5 and then +3 and then +5. The second you see part of it that messes up the pattern, this is no longer linear, so non-linear. And it's that simple. So to recap, graphs, look for a straight line, okay? And when you're looking at a table, look that it has the same pattern through the X and the Y. They don't have to be the same as in like, so both sides don't both have to be like +5, but when you go straight down the table, it should be the same. So all the X's should have the same pattern and all the Y's should have the same pattern. If that makes sense. Okay, hopefully that made a little bit of sense for you. I'm going to give you just like an easy assignment to go with this. So good luck, and I will talk to you soon.